speaking of alcohol, we're in Sutton's closet. And Avi appears from around the corner like a creep, but he's adorable, so I love him.
Pre-planned bit. Yep.
Yeah.
It's time to take A Therapeutic Dose, a prescription-strength reality TV podcast that explores the intersection of reality TV and therapy. Possible side effects may include entertainment, strong emotional reactions, and/or laughter. Here are your hosts, Ramona Ramirez and Margie McGee.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to A Therapeutic Dose, where we meet at the intersection of reality TV and therapy. I am Margie McGee, and with me, as always, is my dear friend and co-host.
Hello, Margie. I am Ramona Ramirez. I can't tell you how good it is to see your fucking face.
Dude, I can't
and
tell
how
you
grateful I am
Same.
to see your face.
Same. And to be in my home because it's safe. I am very lucky, and yeah, I'm so glad to see you.
I'm so grateful. It means so much more today that I'm seeing you, other than just my usual joy at getting to see your face. Like, the fact that I get to see you means you're in your home, you have power again. Margie was without power for days and days. Both of us know people who have lost homes, who have had to be evacuated. My cousin was evacuated Tuesday night, and she hasn't been able to go home. Her husband's family lost their home. His brother is displaced. Like, I don't know anyone who doesn't know anyone that hasn't not just been affected, but lost their fucking houses. Entire neighborhoods and towns are gone. It is a level of catastrophe that I've never seen, and feeling so powerless about, like, what can I fucking do right now? Like, it's agonizing, especially like when so many of my loved ones are there, when so many of my dearest memories are there. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, it's like a sickening feeling. And even like watching the Beverly Hills episode, I like got choked up and I'll cry now, when Bo's had her date in Malibu. Malibu's gone. All of the beachfront is burned to the fucking ground. Like, it's so, I mean, again, California is amazing. And the way people are behaving right now, coming together, it will heal, but like this will leave a scar like we've never had before.
Mm-mm.
Like, it's crazy. Yeah. And I think I don't know, everyone's powerless. Like, that's the thing, including like the firefighters on that first night. There's nothing to do. There's no hose that's going to stop a 90-mile-per-hour windstorm carrying fire through dry brush. It's just like, this was, yeah, it's been a crazy couple of days. Today is calmer, but we have winds on the horizon for the weekend. So, nobody's out of the woods. I was just telling you, like, my bags have been packed because I got one real evacuation notice and one accidental evacuation notice. But I don't know that I'll ever unpack again. I think I'll just have a bag by the door for the rest of my life.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think it was in 2020. I think it was the first summer of the pandemic, the first fall of COVID. And it was the day that the Bay Area had the orange sky.
Oh, God, yeah.
So we're, 7 months into a fucking pandemic that we were being traumatized in real time. And then that day, the orange sky. And I remember I had driven to a Safeway to do grocery pickup, but I did it in a really far neighborhood, so we had something to fucking do, And when I placed the order, the sky wasn't fucking orange, and then it turned orange, so I'm trying to drive back to our house. I don't know the freeways where we went. I'm trying to keep my kid, trying to do business as usual. Like, the sky is orange, and obviously he knew there was fires. And then when I got home, we got an evacuation notice, like, you need to be ready. So we packed all of the important documents, a couple photo albums. Thankfully, we didn't actually have to be evacuated, but this is a massive reminder that this is something that's like, oh, it'll never happen to me. It could fucking happen to you. And Margie, you were just sharing that like your sister lives in Atlanta and it's snowing there.
Like sticking, like her kid made a snowman.
Yeah.
Like a whole, with plenty of snow to spare. Like
Georgia.
It looks
Georgia.
like it looks like she lives at the top of a mountain today. It's crazy. I mean, it's beautiful, but it's insane.
It's
and
insane.
They declared a state of emergency. She's at home. The schools are closed. Like, because Georgia can't handle feet upon feet of snow. That's not their climate, but it is now. Anything is anyone's climate. Apparently,
anything is anyone's
whatever.
climate. Anything is anyone's climate. That's 100% what I'm trying to like. I just. Bottom line is I have deep, unyielding, boundless love for my city and everyone there. I wish just rapid relief and rapid healing and rapid returning to homes and rapid. I just know that LA is going to stand up and rise up and like support each other. I just know it. I know it. I really hope so. I really hope so.
I hope so too, but there's going to be a significant grieving phase here.
Oh.
So many families are displaced. It's just, it feels catastrophic, but I know, because, I mean, what is miraculous is the wild expanse of these fires and the devastating but minimal lives lost. Each one is a huge loss, but the fact that 100,000 people were evacuated and we've only lost 5 lives so far is like, especially because these swept through populated neighborhoods. Like, it's not going through a forest. It's like, this is, The
last I saw, it was 10.
Oh, no.
Confirmed.
See, I didn't look at the news this morning. Well, fuck me.
I just like, I have no.
And I know it'll get worse because smoke inhalation will be terrible. And I know.
I've been like texting my cousin nonstop. She's been at my uncle's house. Thank God. I just adore my uncle. And like, I'm so glad they had a place to go. But like, I've been texting her nonstop and I feel so terrible because like, I don't want to bog her down. I don't want to be like, I don't know. So I'm relying on the news because I just feel, it feels like quasi-invasive to be asking people all the time, like what's going on.
Well, we don't know. That's the thing with fire is it's like, because on whenever it was, 2 days ago, I don't know. My power went out pretty immediately when the wind started and it was out for a couple days, but I was fine. And then all of a sudden at night, the fire starts in the Hollywood Hills and I get the get ready to leave notice. My friends got fully evacuated. So they came here, sat in the pitch black and freezing cold because it was suddenly, it's just like fire is real unpredictable. And so basically all of Los Angeles County is on a red flag warning, meaning like be packed and ready to go. And we'll give you as much heads up as we can. If an ember blows to your doorstep, you just gotta go. So it's a weird, it's just a reminder of like, no one's in charge. Mother Nature's in charge. Like every government can do whatever they want with their laws and their rules. But in a moment like this, nobody can be like, no fire, stay back. It's like, I'm going to do what I want. But what I am really, I love Los Angeles and you just see the shelters are turning away donations. They have too much shit.
Thank God.
And 100,000 people are displaced and they have too much. I mean, isn't that amazing? In every single one of them.
In Josh's, one of his passions when he first became a graphic designer was making poster art. And before I met him, Katrina happened, Haiti happened, the terrible fires in San Diego happened in 2007. And he made posters for each of those tragedies, each of those crises in order to raise money and donate it, and he's resurrecting one of them so that we can raise money for California Community Fund. I was in charge of picking out the organization, and they take care of underserved and low-income people in crisis. And yeah, anything anyone can do. World Kitchen. Fucking, of course, Jose Andres is out there.
He's amazing.
Man, that man is an angel walking among us.
He really is. Like, he's
God.
His life is real purposeful. It's beautiful. I love Snoop Dogg, and he opened his clothing shop and just said, if you're displaced, come here, get clothes. Like, it's just wonderful. Like,
Halle Berry's like, I'm going to give away all my clothes. My closet is yours.
Yeah. And people, like, parents are like, come take my toys. We don't, it's just everybody there's just a real spirit of like, help each other through this. And I know that it'll fade with, as the intensity of the event fades, but like, I'm really proud that the initial instinct is everyone trying to, the Airbnbs that are opening so people have a place to stay. Like, I don't know, hotels are opening, things are, yeah. Anyways,
I would hope so.
I would hope so. It does feel like the bare minimum, doesn't it?
Airbnb is, they can afford to do this for like a long time.
I don't understand how that works, but yeah, because I know individual people own those properties, right?
Yeah, but like, I'm telling you, like
the company could. The
company has, they can, and maybe it'll even be tax deductible for them, and they'll actually be able to, like, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be cynical. I just, the billionaires need to step up right now. I don't know if Airbnb has a billionaire, but like, oh God, I don't need to be bringing this shit in right now. I'm going to cut that out.
No, that's the thing, is like, it's all connected. That's why people are starting conspiracy theories and blame game. And it's like, we're all just it would be so nice if there was one person to point to and be like, your fault, guilty. And then we all, he goes to jail forever and everything's fine. But it's just like, this is a huge global problem. This is climate change. And this is how we're going to have to behave as human beings if we want to survive now. Like, these events are just going to keep happening everywhere. And we're just going to have to rally around each other to support the survival of the human race.
Yeah.
So, and LA's doing a really exemplary job of that right now, because this is terrible. And I don't think anyone yet feels abandoned or dropped. Like, insurance companies are assholes, but the community is not. So,
oh my God, man, I just don't even get me started.
Oh
my God.
It's crazy.
Do the right thing over profits. They don't listen to this podcast.
I'm sure they've gotten that advice before, probably from a court system here or there, but
yeah, man,
that's not how they roll.
Oh, good Lord. Good Lord. Well, I send much love. I send so much fucking love to LA.
Yeah,
It's in my veins. It's in my parents' veins. It's in my nearest and dearest veins. And I just, please, 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 just take a minute out of your day today to just send some love and some prayers.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about you a lot, because I was like, Ramona would hate this because you love this city so much. This would really, yeah.
When the Hollywood Hills started,
Ugh.
and they were saying, the boundary was Fountain and Hollywood, I just talked to my sister. I'm like, how many times did we drive Fountain and Hollywood? How many fucking times? And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God.
It's not like a little piece of fire. It's not like structure's on fire. It's like the hill is cartoonishly blazing. Like, it's crazy. I sent you that picture where it's like,
yeah,
it's just, it was shocking. But
Margie and I used to hike Runyon Canyon.
Yes.
All the time. All the fucking time.
And we will again, like, because Runyon has been through its fair share of problems, mudslides and which will also be a thing if we ever get rain again. I don't know what the climate's ever going to do,
I don't know what's going to happen either.
Fire is part of nature's cycle, so Runyon of all places will rebuild itself naturally. It's these cities. Altadena is a city. Palisades is a city. It's businesses and homes, not forest. So that's the part that's really hard to conceive. But I'm grateful for who is currently holding the office in the White House so that we can get this effort underway.
My God.
In a sincere and urgent fashion before we're just left to languish.
In the nick of time.
I know.
The nick of time.
Because we would just be told to go fuck ourselves and delayed until
he hates California.
Dead.
He hates it. He hates it.
Insane.
Anyway,
I mean, it was nice to visit Los Angeles in happier times looking at this episode of Beverly Hills.
The aerials broke my heart.
I know. It was like watching
B-roll.
A retrospective of what was.
It was just fucking chilling. And yeah, so this is season 14, episode 6, Venom in the Viper Room.
We start with Garcelle and her son Jade, and they're looking at his modeling shots. And Garcelle mentions she was one of very few ethnic models when she started out. And she names Iman, iconic, Beverly Johnson, iconic, Naomi Campbell, iconic. And her son
problematic.
Goes, sure.
Sorry.
But model-wise, for someone in the modeling industry to say, I don't know those people, I was like, I'm old. It's official. Like, dig my grave. It's time.
People said they didn't know who those models were?
That's what her son said. She named those three women.
Right. That's
Iman,
right.
Beverly Johnson, Naomi Campbell, and Jade goes, I don't know those people.
Dude.
And the subtext was, I don't care. And I was like, now I'm of the age where I'm like, know your history. They were the original supermodels.
Oh, believe
Come
me.
on, man.
Believe me, yeah.
Get a Herb Ritz book.
Dude, get a Herb Ritz book.
Educate yourself. But he doesn't care. He's just a beautiful boy, and the picture was lovely. And
I love the picture of them. It was luminous. So then we go to Dorit watching Phoenix Kemsley do her ballet dance. She's really good. And
she is really good. Like, legitimately, like, great turnout from the hip, not the knee. Really good spotting technique. Excellent pirouettes. Great posture. Beautiful port-de-bras. Like, she's really a good dancer.
She's really a good dancer. And I don't agree with Dorit's choice to keep the kids sheltered. We've talked about that ad nauseum in previous episodes. I don't need to go into it again. But she seems like her kids really know that they can rely on her. And she's a soft place to land for them. And I feel like I get the vibe that she's only turned it up in her current circumstance. So,
well, and it's something
I
that,
see
like,
you, Dorit.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, and I'm happy for Phoenix because my sister and I both had ballet, like, when our parents went through their divorce. Like, it's a really structured, in some ways damaging, but in a lot of ways, really amazing practice and a great community. And I was really happy to see that Phoenix is really good and will probably be encouraged to spend a lot of time with people, outside of her family.
Oh, that's a really good point. Yeah.
And also, there is something that happens when the dad is finally gone. Everyone relaxes and they can just be themselves.
Oh, my God.
You don't have to fucking put on a show or anticipate, is he coming home today? We don't know. We'll never know. And now you know. He's not coming home, so you can all relax and be yourselves. And that was the vibe I got in that house, including from Jagger and Pumpkin the dog. Everyone was just like, hey. And it was nice to see Phoenix just doing some pirouettes in the den. And Jagger talking about, if I spun like that, I'd barf. It's like, I don't know if he'd say that if PK was there. Or if he did, he'd be doing it for a laugh or trying, like.
Oh my God, Margie. That's such a fucking incredible point that you just made. When the active alcoholic is at your house, you walk on eggshells constantly. Mm-hmm. You never know what's going to happen. And there is tension. And when they leave, it's a collective sigh of relief. I swear to God, the bones of the house even feel it.
I'm sure of it. And even though the kids don't know, theoretically, everything yet, Dorit knows that PK, there's no threat of him coming over. So she knows. And that her system relaxes in a weird way like that. And now didn't they file for bankruptcy and the house is in auction and stuff. I thought I heard that. Maybe not.
This house?
Yeah.
Oh my God. When did you hear this?
I think that happened. I don't see now all the days have blended together.
I mean, I'm in the Beverly Hills
Dorit.
subreddit. I'm in the
Oh,
Bravo Real Housewives subreddit. I mean, I check the
then I
gossip blogs
guarantee
daily.
PK rejects Dorit's bankruptcy support claims. Not exactly true. Oh no, this is other shit. Okay, so maybe it's not real. All right.
No,
I'm sure I
it
saw it.
also could have to do with that house that had the ridiculous driveway, and that's where she got the rose gold Bentley.
Maybe, yeah. They said something, but this was on TikTok, I'm certain of it, because when my power was out, and there was strain on the cell phone service because everyone
Of course.
was operating on cell phone service. So the only thing I could get to come in was TikTok. And so I'm sure I just saw some bullshit TikTok and bought it. Anyways.
Isn't it wild that you were going through the same thing that Jeff Lewis was going through in your neighborhood? All roads lead to Bravo.
Oh, yeah.
If he was there, if he was
He
in his LA
probably
house.
left. The second the power went out, he was probably like, see ya. Because he has another house in Hancock Park, I think. Who cares, Marky? I probably read that on TikTok too. Everything's fake. I don't know. Anyway.
I mean, and also, obviously, like, speaking of bringing up a headline, like, so much Bravo news has been coming out
Oh my God.
since we last recorded. And I just don't even remember it all because my brain is taken up with what's going on in LA. So
James Kennedy is sick. Paige and Craig broke up.
oh God, yeah.
There's just a lot.
Karen was found guilty of her DUI. Oh wait, did that happen before we?
No, because I've watched those videos that you suggested and I was like, that was insane. That's an unpleasant watch. There's so much extreme alcohol abuse on these shows. It's really interesting that a lot of people who go to reality TV seem to have that affliction. Interesting. I was
Very
watching
interesting.
Southern Charm. I'm back
Oh,
on that
God.
again, and it's just
Yeah.
like, ugh. And again, it's like when the shows are about people in their 20s, like that's when you like learn to party and learn your limits and all that stuff. But then as people edge deeper into their 30s and into their 40s and 50s and 60s, it's gross.
I agree.
Anyways.
It wouldn't be a choice I could make. Let me put it that way.
I'm grateful I don't have that addiction.
Oh, every
for
fucking
today.
day, man.
Yeah.
Every fucking day. I just said this to my psychiatrist on Tuesday. Like, I just have such a healthy respect. It affected my own relationship with alcohol. Anyway.
Speaking of alcohol, we're in Sutton's closet. And Avi appears from around the corner like a creep, but he's adorable, so I love him.
Pre-planned bit. Yep.
Yeah. And then we are with Bose and Keely, her boyfriend, on their date on Malibu, beautiful Malibu beach. And, I really like them together.
I do too.
Yeah, they're in a long distance relationship, but that doesn't give me pause the way it does with like a Jax Taylor type. He asked, I mean, it's a conversation that I would make a joke about, but they both were into it. They're both high level corporate people. And he asked, are we aligned in what we want from a relationship? And like, they had a conversation and it seems like they're on the dating to marriage pipeline, and good for them.
I love it. I love it. And I loved seeing that honesty. I loved hearing him say, like, I don't want pretenses. She brings up when he said, if you want to call me, call me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how she feels. And I remember when I was in my 20s, that book, The Rules, was like all the fucking rage. That one and He's Just Not That Into You by that writer and one of the writers from Sex and the City, Liz Trullo, it doesn't matter. And then that toxic
Greg Berlanti,
yes,
is that his
God,
name?
Something like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter. Persona non grata as far as I'm concerned. But
Mm-hmm.
it's like, don't call a boy and don't return a call for 3 days and all this shit. And I bought into it. And I remember thinking in my heart and soul and in my guts, like, it shouldn't have to be like this. Like, if someone really likes you and if you really like them, why are you playing a game? And especially, as we get older, like, who the fuck has time for this? Who has time to do a charade? Who has the desire to do a charade?
It's all the old like boomer misogyny stuff
one
that's fortunately dying out now. But what I learned in therapy, which was a revolution to me, which is like anyone that you date should have the same rules as your friends. Do you wait 3 days to call your friend? No, call your fucking friend if you want to. Like that's how it, and that's the level of comfort and intimacy you should have with a romantic partner too. And like that in my upbringing and what was on TV when we were kids, it was a separate thing. Your friends are one thing where you go to relax and be yourself. And then you put on your best clothes and your best attitude and your best behavior to go interact with a boy until they marry you. And then it's Mad Men and you become an alcoholic. Yeah,
all of your planning worked as
Right.
if anyone can control what's going to happen in a relationship. Like if someone is meant to be with someone, no matter what you do, you're going to be together. So
and
like
vice versa.
exactly.
You can get married to someone. You can force someone down the
Yes.
aisle, and it's not going to last.
Right, right.
That was the plague of my generation. Is that people were like, you have to be married by 30. So a lot of people got married by 30, and then it didn't work, and that's painful, you know.
is.
So, anyways, but this did make me go like, oh, because it's the Ramona and Josh story. Because he's in San Diego and she's in LA.
Yeah, and we talked on the phone every day, and this was before like texting was like hardcore. I don't even want to say that texting and calling was like even 50-50 at that point. Like maybe while we were at work, but if we were on our way home, we would talk in the car. That night we would talk. You know, it was the last person I talked to before I went to sleep and yada, yada. We probably talked in the morning. And yeah, like I have to say that really it did make me feel safe. Like when she's talking about loving Keely's consistency, if he says he's going to call, he calls. I don't have to wait. He texts me from the gym. He tells me how many reps he's done. Yes, give me the details. That's how you build trust. Agreed. Co-signed. It's my experience. Yeah, shout out to my husband. He works hard in every aspect of his life. She asks if he only dates for marriage, and he says yes. She said, what about us? And he's like, I knew you were going to ask this, and he doesn't judge her, you know? Oh, then we meet to Dorit and Erica meeting at Pally House, and Dorit's parents have arrived, and she's so glad, and I bet she is.
And what a great example of calling for help. Like, you know,
Yes.
when you're falling apart, it's time to ask for help. And she called in the reserves and they were right there. And she said Phoenix was the lead in her ballet shows and she killed it. And I believe it. And then this is all sort of like ramping up and rehashing. Dorit and PK have their first therapy session coming up on Monday. And this was a little bit of a bummer. She blames PK for starting these toxic exchanges and she just reacts. And I was like, well, we all have personal accountability. But my takeaway was it's good that if neither of them can communicate in a healthy way, it's very good that this relationship is coming to an end. So,
I mean, I feel like she doesn't know that, though. I feel like she doesn't want to live like they were living before, but she's totally not ready to be done with him. And I remember being told this so many times when I was struggling to leave a relationship or wondering if it was the right thing to do. And I'm sure you told me, I'm sure my other sponsors told me, you know, like you'll know when you know, and when it's time to leave, you'll leave. So like, just try to relax right now. Like you don't have to figure it out. And as someone with such crippling anxiety and someone that came from an alcoholic home, and this could be a human experience. I just don't know what it's like to live that experience without those things. And so I can only talk about how it affected me. And like, I'm not saying it's going to be without pain. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but trusting is really the only thing that you can do. Humans are fucking complicated. But then Erica Jane says, like, you don't have to leave, especially since he's sober. Gotta leave a little room for him. You can't slam the door in his face when he's sober. And I took a lot of issue and umbrage with this, as I'm sure you did too. I mean...
Yeah, I just didn't understand that. I'm like, whether someone's sober or not, if you're dynamic doesn't work, you don't have to do anything. I mean, Dorit came full circle within like 3 scenes, because you're right. Here she is like, I'm not sure I'm totally done with him. And Erica supports that. And then in the next scene, she's like, I'm lawyering up. This is not going to go well. And let's fucking go. Battle time. So,
seriously. And like I've said about PK this entire season, I'm not sure he is what I would consider sober yet. There may be an absence of the substance. He may not be drinking. I acknowledge that the absence of alcohol, the absence of the substance is the tip of recovery, but it's just the tip. I don't put on done, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, just a reminder that like this is early recovery. It's why you have to be at the end of your fucking rope to do it, because it's ugly and messy and you don't know who you are. And like this is not like, I don't know what will come of PK, but he doesn't want to be in that marriage.
No way, man.
He's been making that clear while he was drinking, and it became even more crystallized when he stopped. So Dorit's just, it's hard to let go, but yeah.
And yes, I completely agree. I completely acknowledge that he has just begun his journey with recovery. But yeah, like the fact that he's still blaming Dorit a considerable amount for his issues, at least that's what we're seeing.
Yes.
Is not something that an emotionally sober person would do. I guess that's what I'm saying.
No,
like when there's so much blame going on still, he's not getting it. Yet, I remain open.
I mean, it's the whole, he has to go through all the steps. Like, you know, like you said, or as my sponsor would always remind me, the substance is only mentioned in the first half of the first step.
Oh,
and the rest of it is a spiritual malady that requires all of those humbling ass actions to like get it resolved. And I'm with you. I'm not sure if PK is up for that, but we'll see. I mean, we'll see.
We'll see, man. Then they pivot to talking about Kyle's diamonds and denim party that allegedly took place the night before. And Erica Jane says that Dorit was on fire. And then there was the flashback to Dorit calling Camille Grammer a stupid fucking see you next Tuesday. And Erica Jane approved. And so did I.
Yeah. And
so did I.
Dorit talks about how she's let, and I appreciated this language. She said, I've let a lot of people mistake my kindness for weakness.
Mm-hmm.
And then Erica notes this pattern of Sutton kicking people when they're down. And I hadn't realized that it's true.
Either.
As each one's marriage broke up, Sutton was awful to them. It was Erica's, it was Kyle's, and now it's Dorit's. As soon as their partnerships start to falter, she gets in there and absolutely just levels them. It's really creepy.
I hadn't even put the marriage ending.
Yeah, because it was Erica
connected.
And Tom when that started to fall apart.
Right.
And then she beat the shit out of Erica and then punished Kyle last year and this year too. And now it's focused all eyes on Dorit. I don't know what that's about, but
Erica, I'm not saying she deserved it, but I'm not saying that. Okay, again, I can't say that. I am not judge, jury, executioner. She was and still remains to me unsympathetic.
I totally agree. And I don't necessarily find Kyle sympathetic at all either.
No.
But it is curious that when these women are in unsympathetic positions and on the verge of losing the thing that has defined their whole lives, Sutton is right there to make sure that they don't have a safe place to fall.
Wow.
It's
what
pretty
issues
gross.
Does she have to deal with her own marriage ending that are clearly still...
Yeah.
She's like...
Or the role of women, or I don't know what it is with her, but she's really on each of them as that moment in time comes up. So that was fascinating.
I'm starting to see Sutton through. I've taken off my rose-colored lenses and I put on my clear glasses and I see her. I get it. I get where you're coming from and where you've been coming from,
Well, and it's a
since she joined
progressive
this,
illness. It's getting harder and harder for her to hide.
Yeah.
That party at the end, you can't tell me she wasn't drunk as she microaggresses Bose by calling her eloquent and then saying, I have a wide vocabulary myself. A wide vocabulary? What are you talking about? You're drunk.
As she drinks her kid's cocktail, not kid, but like, she's drinking grapefruit juice cocktail and vodka. Like not even real grapefruit juice, like kid grapefruit juice.
Yes, but I
I
am
like it, but I know what I'm doing when I'm drinking it. I'm not drinking real juice.
But I'm of the mind that there's just enough juice in there to give it color so it doesn't look like straight vodka. I don't think if you took a sip of that, you'd be confused what was in that glass.
You're right. And then we pivot. Anything else about that scene?
No.
Yeah. Garcelle and Jade and Ashlyn and Oliver and OJ are in the car on the way to her beach house.
Is so goddamn
cute. That baby is edible.
God, he's so cute in his little car seat. So cute.
So cute. So cute. And this was a really beautiful, heartwarming scene full of examples of change and love. And I mean, so much from Garcelle never imagining that this could be her reality and how grateful she is and just how awestruck she is. And when she shared that story about Oliver, I mean, how do you do that? When Josh and I were watching, I know what she did was the right thing. But my God, how excruciating.
Anyone didn't watch. She talked about Oliver's battle with addiction and that he was homeless. And one night she heard noise in her backyard, turned on the light and saw it was Oliver completely possessed by his addiction, trying to break into the pool house, begging her to let him in. And she did not. And she said it was like the hardest thing she's ever had to do. But she imagines that perhaps being cut off from his whole family, not being able to see his brothers, maybe that was the motivating factor in finally getting him to get clean. But she talked really freely about the fear and the guilt of the experience of doing that, and that it's not without consequence. She said, which I thought was so interesting and just vague enough, she said something to the effect of Oliver had a lot of catching up to do in life. So once he recovered from his addiction, it does seem like that little baby boy put a fire under his ass to get it together.
She even said it. Yeah. She credits her tough love. And that, for people that haven't heard the term, you're not familiar with the term tough love, it's often used in recovery spaces and mental health recovery spaces where it's like you do what Garcelle did. Not coming from cruelty, but coming from like, I can't help you anymore. And I am going to, if I do that, I'm going to continue to enable your self-destruction and I can no longer be a part of that. We did have to ask my dad to leave when I was a teenager. And I thought it would be really easy, but they can be manipulative. And he was contrite and sad. And I had to look him in the eye as a child. I think I was 16. And say, I don't want to live with you anymore. And our therapist had gone through what we should say and how we should say it. And it was excruciating, and I still remember it very vividly.
Yeah, I mean, it really is like, it's I don't know if Garcelle is in Al-Anon, but that's like the way she handled that is exactly how that program would prescribe. And I go to a lot of those meetings and I hear a lot of parents telling those stories. And it's I can't imagine how hard that is either. I don't have kids of my own, but my niece and nephews and godchildren, like I don't know if they came knocking on my door, I don't know the level of resolve it takes to know that it's true though. You enable their demise, at a certain point, helping them sends them deeper into the thing that's going to kill them. So.
And while I acknowledge the 3 C's that they teach in Al-Anon, you didn't cause it, you can't cure it, and you can't control it. I don't know if I'm getting them in the right order. And I'm not saying this to place blame, however it might come across, but like my dad's family definitely, they were of the ilk of blood is thicker than water, And no matter what, you don't turn your back on your family. I reject that wholeheartedly. I reject it. I believe that if your family is toxic and not interested in changing their behavior, I feel like it's okay to turn your back. I feel like it's okay to turn your back to save yourself. I wonder if them not practicing tough love, to their detriment, man, like to their detriment, the lengths they went to save my dad from his
I mean, but if you don't know any better, like I didn't know any
self-destruction. Yeah.
better. I don't think my
Yeah.
mom or anyone else did too. You cover for them, and like I didn't realize that that was an unhealthy choice.
Yeah.
I thought you just get in that lizard brain of like I just need them to be safe right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard if without any understanding of addiction, I couldn't have conceived of the harm that was actually causing.
Yeah.
So I was really impressed with Garcelle having done that at all and still being so close to how painful that moment in time was. And I imagine that will be something that affects their relationship positively and negatively for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. And it's heartening to see that they now, it's clear, it's palpable that they cherish each other. And it
Yeah.
was also palpable with how loving Oliver is with OJ.
I
Like,
know.
I'm never one to listen to words that grown-ups say to their kids. I look at kids and how they are with their parents. Do they look at ease or do they look alert, hypervigilant? Do they seem relaxed or anxious? I project still, but like, that's what I look for.
Well, and Oliver was really sweet. I don't remember exactly what happened, but OJ, the baby, dropped something and he's like, that's okay, I'll clean it up. Like it
Mhm.
was super, I don't know. He just, as if that's, by the way, for everyone who's wondering, that's how fucking low the bar is for good dad behavior on my end. He didn't yell and scream and
Good
blame his
point.
child. And I
Holy
just realized saying that
shit.
out loud, like, that's
Holy
that's the only normal way to react to
Right,
someone, a
right.
baby dropping food is to be like,
A
that's
baby
okay.
dropping food. Exactly.
Oh, Lord. Then we go to Dorit's, and this made me laugh so hard. Dorit, her mom is making a fruit tray, and Dorit's like, oh, Mama, you always get the best peaches. And the mom goes, I got them at Costco. And Dorit was like, oh God. Made me laugh.
So funny.
And then Bose arrives in like a blush pink Porsche or something, some fancy ass
God, it was
custom
gorgeous.
sports car.
Yes.
Yeah. And they head outside to talk. And Dorit reveals that PK came into a 4-hour therapy session on a mission to fight. And eventually he just yelled, I want a divorce, and stormed out. So that's how that's going. And that's when Dorit said she now knows she needs to lawyer up and get ready
Yeah.
for battle. Like he's not going to participate in co-parenting or amicable separation.
I was so disgusted. I was so disgusted to learn this. I don't want to be married to this woman. Here's again, like he's making all of these plans without letting her in on it. He's got it in his mind what he's going to do. And the respectful, kind, loving, recovering thing, in my opinion, would be like, hey, I've been doing some thinking. This doesn't seem like something that I just need space from. I think it's time I need to move on, as hard as this is, but I want, to let you know where I'm at. He's not telling her shit. It's not clean. It's not kind. It's disrespectful. And PK continues to give me no reason to respect him or empathize with him, whether he has a disease or not.
But to that point, I don't know why Dorit feels blindsided.
Yeah, exactly.
That to me was like, we saw the dinner you had out in a public place where you guys were both, you called him fat and he called you. Like, it's like, this is a horrible dynamic. And 4 hours deep into couples therapy, I'm not sure what caught Dorit by surprise, but, I guess, who knows. And now back to talking about Kyle. Bose brings up Dorit and Kyle's relationship, wondering why Kyle invited Camille to the party, which made me think of you. And Dorit laid it out, saying this isn't the first time Kyle has called in Camille to do her dirty work. And, the most fucked up part is that Kyle didn't tell Dorit that Camille was coming. So clearly Camille was a plant to needle and fuck with Dorit. And Dorit is fed up.
I'm fed up. I'm beyond
I think
fed
we
up
all are.
with Kyle.
And Camille made such a bad showing that it's like, Kyle, choose a better deputy, because that was an atrocious display. So embarrassing.
It was embarrassing. Her outfit was embarrassing. Or the way she talks is embarrassing. The fact that she loves Brett Kavanaugh is embarrassing. She's a total, I don't use that word either. But in this instance, I understand why one would.
She's ridiculous.
Bless her. Bless her. See you next Tuesday. Why heart? I'm sorry. God.
Well, and then I love Bose for saying, she says to Dorit, it hurt my feelings when Sutton came for you, and with the whole, you're angry, you're not angry at me, you're angry at your life. And Bose makes note of the contradiction of Sutton saying, I'm here for you, and then weaponizing Dorit's vulnerabilities in the next breath. And in light foreshadowing for what once again occurs at the end of the episode.
I just love that Bose said she's never seen people go at it like this, like these women do before. And she doesn't know if it's passion, delusion, or psychosis. They don't let anything slide and they throw it in each other's faces. I get that we are watching these shows specifically to watch that kind of stuff unfold. But I love the fact that she is being honest about what it's like to be in that.
Yeah.
And I don't think that this woman is capable of doing what they do.
I doubt it. She's been too successful at too high a level.
Yeah, dude.
The reason a lot of people wind up not moving up to a position like hers is because they get drawn into bullshit like this. It's everywhere. It's in line at Starbucks, for fuck's sake. But
yeah, that's
true.
true.
I don't know if Bose can be dragged down because she has too much perspective on it. She's just so clear on like what's important and what's not, and what's bad behavior and what's not. And I loved her interaction with Sutton at the end in that party where she's just like, I'm not.
She's not going to suffer a fool.
Exactly.
Bose says that's the hard part about being about friendships is being vulnerable. And to me, that is the greatest gift of my dear friendships. They give me the safety to be vulnerable. They don't shy away from my vulnerability. I'm ecstatic when my loved ones are vulnerable with me because I hope that it means that I'm a safe space for them. And I endeavor to be a safe space for my friends, a soft place to land, a refuge, what have you. What is the point of being friends without vulnerability? Puff, puff, pass. Fucking love Bose, man.
Yeah.
I love her.
Speaking of Bose and fires and all that stuff, her beautiful Malibu beach house burned to the ground.
That's right.
And I don't know, did you see her post where she wrote about how she had to get it? She had to use a fake name so that they wouldn't realize it was a single widowed Black woman buying a Malibu beach house. The lengths she went to secure that property, it was beautiful what she put into decorating it, and it just broke my heart.
I'm not going to lie. Whenever I went into Malibu, I was like very conscious of the fact that I had more melanin in my skin and a name that ended in easy. I'm not going to lie. And I would code switch back then.
Well, I think she even said in that post that she'd tried to get a few other properties with her own name and identity and was denied. And then suddenly, miraculously, when she's able to find another way in, suddenly she's approved. So
disgusting.
It's not great.
Disgusting.
But it did break my heart.
Absolutely.
Anyways, now we're at Erica's house with Martyn Lawrence Bullard. He brings his book to promote and then sages her space. And then he goes through the house and critiques everything. And I was just in no mood for this bullshit. I don't know. I didn't like him. I thought he was mean. And I thought he was cutting and shitty. And I hate that attitude.
I recognized him.
You may not have $1 billion budget, but we'll do our best. I was like, you're a fucking bitch. Don't take the client if you're going to treat her like shit.
I mean, she spun it like, oh, you're going to go back to your roots and work with nothing. I don't know. He has been around the interior design scene in LA for I remember him from like the early 2000s. And yes, he has built an empire, but I don't take him seriously. I never have. I've never taken that man seriously.
I mean, I appreciated his thoughts, but I was like, I could tell you that fixture's ugly. I could tell you this would make a lovely setting for a Moroccan lounge. Like, I don't know why you're so special to be like, this is disgusting. You're Erica Jane. You shouldn't have trash like this. It's just rude. I don't know. And I'm also like hypersensitive to like people coming into someone's personal space
and being shitty.
There's a way to get excited about changing it without shitting on what's already there.
Mm-hmm. Erica says that she names some of his most, noteworthy celeb clients, and she includes Khloe Kardashian and then says anyone with great style. And I was all, Khloe Kardashian? I'll pass. Agree to disagree. The Nene GIF, the painting one where she's painting at a fucking Color Me Mine knockoff, and then she like looks to her side like, okay. Oh, God.
I mean,
great style.
It's just, but that's the thing. It's art. It's like, it's to taste. So you don't get to tell me who has great style. I've never seen Cher's house. Maybe it's great. I like Chloe's house, but it's never struck me as style. Like Bose's house, when both of them have a real look to them and a real, like, that's a style, And, love him or hate him, Jonathan Adler is a style.
100.
Restoration Hardware is a style. But like, I don't think of Khloe Kardashian's house as being anything recognizable at all. God. I can't even, she has sweets and flowers out, but I don't remember a damn thing about the design of the house.
I just remember bad Photoshop and hands that looked extra long, whatever. This was just like a fucking design fantasy circle jerk between the two of them, and it made me annoyed. Like, if you want the stink of Erica Jane on you, Martyn, like, be my fucking guest.
That's the other thing. Like, be
it
careful.
Makes me side-eyed him too. I don't think he has scrupes. I think that scruples are not part of his design wheelhouse.
I think he was there to promote his book and to remind people to call him. I don't think he gives a shit about this project, and he probably knows he won't get paid. And he just has to hope that she doesn't send him to jail for it. Isn't that what happened with that designer?
Marco.
Right. She didn't pay someone to do the work, and then somehow the designer wound up in jail?
Yeah, because she contested she took the credit card statement and was like, oh my God. And then, and she kept saying, like, you don't have to invoice me, but then she used it against him.
Jesus.
And
She's
he
crazy.
went to jail, couldn't adopt their child. Yeah, like, I can't. And I have more to say about the Marco stuff when we get to the Viper Room.
Well, shall we get in glam for it? We have
my God. Sutton's going to be a real Angelino now because she's going to the Viper Room. Margie, is a trip to the Viper Room, nearly 32 years
I was just going to say,
after it opened.
In 1994, absolutely.
Is that the
now,
gateway? Right.
It's not on the radar at all. So.
I had a really fun night there back in 2003. And I have this.
That sounds right. That's peak time to have a good night there.
From what I've learned about ADHD and how it manifests in women is that you remember dates, you remember numbers. I remember what I wore that night because I loved that outfit so fucking much. And I just used that handbag that I used back in 2003 to go to the Viper Room. I used it on New Year's Eve. I don't believe that it's, in this day and age, a gateway to becoming a true Angelino, though. That's insanity.
Well, and it's insane. Just like, I don't know. The Viper Room, never in a million years would, if you showed me what all of those women wore and said, where are they going? The last place I would pick is the Viper Room. The Viper Room is like a punk club. Like, it's where you go in your, like, shitty jeans and a tank top smoking a cigarette. It's not where you go in, like, a sequin dress with heels and pantyhose. It's like, I don't know what was going on.
Yeah, it was definitely a middle-aged table. God bless. I say that with love as someone who's firmly planted in middle age.
Sure. But
it happens to all of us, but, like, yeah.
Not the Viper Room experience that would be captured in, like, a photo book,
Probably not. we learned from Garcelle's package that Erica Jane is being honored by the GLAAD Association. And to bring back Marco, someone on Reddit started a discussion like, why is GLAAD platforming a woman who stole from and framed Marco?
Yeah,
like,
I did find that kind of disturbing. I didn't understand at all.
Yeah. Erica Jane and, oh, yeah, but God, Garcelle. She made out with Johnny Depp, and I know that it's a progressive disease and it was a long time ago, but like, that is not a flex now.
No, I do not know why you share that with any pride. That was a really weird choice.
Oh, God. Oh.
And then Erica is getting her glam done and she FaceTimes with Dorit. And Erica reports she is not performing tonight, just standing on stage. And then we flash back to a rehearsal with Mikey saying, this is a single release party, not a performance. And I was like, so this is nothing? This is nothing. We're just going to have a DJ play a song. Great. And then Dorit asks Erica if she knows if Kyle and PK are still speaking. Dorit noting she wouldn't put it past PK to use Kyle to keep tabs on Dorit and get information if need be, even though Dorit knows nothing about his life. And then Erica suggests that Dorit ask Kyle about it at the event.
I may not know a lot of things, but I do know, Dorit, that if he wanted to know about your life, he would ask you. I don't think he cares. He doesn't even care about his fucking kids, man.
True, but I think I wouldn't be surprised if he's holding on to Kyle as a source of information gathering for divorce purposes. He's going to be one of those who does nasty shit in the divorce.
Ugh.
And he'll be able to say, well, even her friends don't talk to her anymore. Her best friend turned her back on Dorit and picked me. You know, there's all that weird. And I also just think it's gross of Kyle for sure, but it's also gross of PK. Like, stop it.
Repugnant.
You guys, not right now. You guys are disgusting. Just leave it alone. Then Jennifer Tilly arrives at Sutton's house and Sutton's dogs both bark at her and they cheer that they're wearing sparkles and head off to the event.
And Sutton has been a monster this season, but she looked
adorable. She's looked great all season.
In her Viper Room hair and makeup. Yeah, I mean, just gorgeous. Oh God, the slow-mo arrivals and step repeat. I was just like so secondhand embarrassed for them. And
I could not be more embarrassed when Kyle, who we have not seen all episodes, shows up with Kesha.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Kesha, and I do not hold this against Kesha at all.
Me
I
either.
bet you anything, Kesha is a Real Housewives fan. And when Kyle said, do you want to come to this party at the Viper Room where you belong anyway? I would go too. You know, I don't think Kesha is like Kyle's friend. And Kyle can go straight to hell when she says, yeah, she's a musician and yes, we're friends. So let the rumors start. I'm like,
oh my God.
Put Morgan on TV for a whole season, flirting and giggling and getting tattoos and don't do that to us.
Dry humping in a video in a fucking wannabe bondage outfit.
Please don't talk down to us like we misinterpreted something. You put it on screen for us. We saw it. Like, God,
also,
it made me so mad.
Everyone's over your shtick, bitch. Like, no one cares. We're not out there like, oh my God, are Kyle and Kesha together? Like, dream on.
Truly dream on. Truly. And
Also,
you can tell, yeah.
No, I was just going to say, fuck Dr. Luke. Justice for Kesha, always.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think Kesha's a phenomenal artist. Like,
agreed.
Again, I do think this is something where she watches the show and Kyle invited to her event and she said yes. Like,
well, she followed me on Instagram. Like,
oh, did she follow you first, Kyle? Are we sure about that?
Yeah.
And maybe so. Even so, you can tell they're not friends because the first thing Kesha does when she meets Dorit is compliment her purse and tell her she's a fashion queen. And Kyle looked mortified. And I was like, yeah. So clearly Kesha is not her friend. They don't know each other at all, or else Kyle would have Camille'd her and told her not to do anything nice around Dorit. So,
oh my God. Oh
ridiculous.
My God. Sutton and Jay Till are in the car on the way to the Viper Room, and Sutton's nervous because she didn't like Bose calling her out for weaponizing Dorit's current situation. And Jay Till says that she was picking up some prickly energy from Bose. I don't get prickly vibes from Bose at all. I get a woman who is advocating for another woman and also someone who doesn't engage in bullshit, but she manages to do it in a way kinder, clearer, cleaner way than I have done. I aspire to communicate with the clarity and grace in which Bose can still either, how do I want to say this? Like, she lives by her internal credo. And if you lack common sense or if you lack decency, she's going to say something, but it's not like I browbeat and she's just clear. And I envy that, and I can aspire to that. I can change.
The most revealing part of this to me is when Sutton said, is Dorit saying things to Bose to make Bose not like me? And I'm just like, you are so blind to your own ridiculous behavior. Nobody has to say anything to make you unlikable, Sutton. You're
super
hideous.
Yeah.
And that's where I was like, she's definitely drunk already. Because that's a thing that victim-y thing and trying to get people on your team, like Dorit must be saying something. And Sutton even does her classic, like throwing her hands up with her eyes wide open. Like, I can't imagine what it could be, except that Dorit is saying things to Bose to make her hate me because I'm wonderful and do nothing wrong. It's like, oh, God.
There's nothing like the super paranoia, the hyper paranoia of an alcoholic in their cups, man.
Heading into the event, prepping her friend to, like, it was just like, ugh, this is unpleasant.
Dude. Kyle again thinking that we see her as hot shit as much as she thinks she's hot shit. She says, I'm from this town, but I've never made it to the Viper Room. And then she names off all these clubs that I've never fucking heard of except for the Roxbury. And I'm like, Kyle, you're not it. You're not. Just stop it. I just was impatient.
Yeah.
That's not very therapized.
No, I don't know why Kyle was in this episode at all. I was just like, I'm sick of you. So then Bose arrives and greets the girls, and Kyle gets her finger stuck in Bose's bracelet. And she's like, oh, it's a weapon. And Sutton goes, are you weaponizing? To Bose. I'm like, oh my God, you came here for a fight, Sutton. You are so stupid. And then Bose in her confessional is like, the bracelet is the least of the weapons in my arsenal, and Sutton does not want to strike first. It's the worst decision she could make in a strategy against me. And I was like, oh.
I mean, yeah, dude. It's just not an intellectual match. It's not.
And it's like, if you're prone to Al-Anonism and you're in a relationship with an alcoholic, the arguments can be really damaging. If you're not prone to Al-Anonism and you're in an argument with an alcoholic, it is the Wizard of Oz so fast. You just pull the curtain and you're like, you're being an idiot. You're saying nonsense and you have no power over me, you know? And that was my experience of the dynamic with Sutton and Bose, is Sutton really tried to do something and Bose was like, no.
Oh my God. It was gorgeous. It was just, I loved it.
Sutton pulls Bose aside to have this conversation. Sutton says, I didn't like the word weaponize. And that's where I wrote, Sutton's definitely drunk. And then Bose kind of mansplains weaponize, which was a weird moment where she's like, you take something and fashion it to hurt someone else.
See, I loved it. I love that she was like, she repeated it. And I was wondering if it was like some corporate strategy that she picked up along the way, but I think I'm going to try it. Like, she's like, I didn't like the word weaponize. And Bose said, you didn't like that word? Like, I loved it. And she explained why she used it. I didn't think it was mansplaining. I think that she was like, ma'am, you don't understand why I said this. I'm going to explain it.
Or maybe it's that thing of like, I just want to make sure we're both working from the same definition here.
Yes.
What I understand weaponized to mean is this, and I chose it because it meant that. And Sutton was like, yeah, that's what I hated.
Weaponizing doesn't mean that I'm calling you out on your bullshit. What you said was rude. What you did was a low blow. That is not weaponizing against you, Sutton. That is factually what happened.
Well, Sutton, I think, took offense that Bose considered Sutton's attack of Dorit weaponizing. And Sutton said, I didn't mean for it to hurt her. And Bose said, but it did.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I mean by like, if you're not in an Al-Anonic dynamic, when you're talking to an alcoholic, it's very simple. You just say like, you didn't mean to hurt her, but it did. And then period. And you don't have to go like, it's amazing.
That's what I admire about Bose. What you just said, it's simple. My wiring still includes so much Al-Anon and people-pleasing and afraidness that I don't keep it simple. I have to explain my whole reason, lest I be misunderstood, lest someone think I'm out to hurt them intentionally. I have been told so many times, like, no is a complete sentence or whatever, and I feel done. I feel done not being a straight shooter with love and respect and kindness. She's just honest.
Well, and she continued and she said to Sutton, I think you were just angry in the moment. And Sutton goes, I wasn't angry. I was defensive. And I was like you are right now. And then I just wrote, like, that is the alcoholic need to be right. So no matter what, Sutton needs to be right. Even if it betrays all truth, she's going to find a way to twist this so that you're wrong and I'm right. Because angry and defensive are really relatively synonymous.
Honestly, right.
And then Sutton in her confessional, so when she's sober, I presume, whatever, she blames Bose for not putting enough energy into the relationship to understand Sutton. And I was like, you are an asshole.
The grandiosity.
And where's your effort, Sutton?
Right?
I don't hear you saying, like, I'm trying to understand what Bose is saying, but we're just not connecting. I'm just hearing you say, well, she's not doing enough to get me.
Oh, my God. Will the real Slim Sutton please stand up? I just loved it.
Yes. And that Bose, again, just reads Sutton for the hypocrite she is, claiming she wants to foster peace in this group and then causing harm. She's either delulu or very mean and calculated. And I think it's the latter. So.
Yeah. Erica Jane arrives in her laced yet full butt chaps. That's just the only way I could describe that outfit. And she's introduced. She's welcome to join the stage as a pop icon. Again, Kyle, no one thought you were an it girl at the clubs. And Erica, I didn't know who the fuck you were before you joined this cast.
No, and I certainly will not be downloading Dominoes anytime soon. And she weirdly takes the stage. I don't know why she just, if it's a listening party, just let it be a listening party. And by the way, listening parties are things now. Like Kanye, made that a thing, and it can be a whole fucking event. Tyler, the Creator, just did his Chromatopia. Is that the name of the new album? Anyways, it was a listening party, but he was like dancing around in full like he was. And she gets up there and she goes, "Put your hands in the sky." And then she goes, "This is easy. It's breezy. We're feeling it." It sounds like a fucking aerobics class from the 80s. It was really unpleasant, and I could not wait for it to be over. And the song impressed no one, and it was just a big, why are we here?
Jennifer Tilly Band, she's like the level of rich where she can say whatever she wants, or she actually says on camera, I don't think it's going to win any awards for lyrics. And she just, no blink. And you know what?
True.
I aspire to that too.
Yeah. And again, it's like, it's not unkind. It's just true. That's a fact.
True.
Because it seemed just to repeat the word dominoes over and over again with no real.
My God.
I'm sure Kesha was not moved to like do a cover of it. So. And then the girls are all sitting at the table together, and here we go. Dorit tells Kyle that PK is in an unpredictable state of mind and she is on high alert. And that broke my heart because that is the alcoholic Al-Anon dynamic in one sentence.
Yep.
She says, I don't know what the hell he can do, and she's curious if Kyle is speaking to him. Kyle claims her friendship with him is just memes and jokes, but she certainly has communicated with him within the last week, which I actually expect means within the last few hours.
100%.
She was so uncomfortable that I was like, you're clearly doing this on the regular. And Dorit thinks it's weird that Kyle is engaging with PK when she and Dorit are not even talking. And she goes, it's just not okay.
It's not okay.
And nobody thinks it's okay. And Kyle defends herself very poorly, saying, if it ever got to a point where you weren't getting along, and it's like they're divorcing, how much less are they to get along before you stop? And then she goes, I'm a girl's girl. I would stop texting him and side with you. I'm like, that's not none of your behavior. Yeah.
The fact that she says, we're getting divorced, And Kyle's like, well, I didn't know that. We haven't spoken. And I was like, are you insane? If my friends are having conflict with their partners, I'm going to be there for my friend.
Also, Dorit's been talking about it the whole season. You do know.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you do know. Like, she's been going, this is like the whole season is on Dorit and PK, and Kyle, fucking Kyle. And the fact that she said that she would expect her friends to text Mo while they were separating,
I'd expect them to text us both.
Does anyone for a minute believe that? Because if you do,
not. Kyle doesn't even believe it. And Dorit in her confessional says, if the tables were turned and I was talking to Mo, Kyle would not be okay with it. And Kyle definitely wouldn't let me get away with pretending I don't know it's wrong.
Dude.
And that's the big piece, is it's like, whether or not it's happening, the piece where you're pretending you don't know you're being an absolute bitch is unforgivable. It's unforgivable.
It's unforgivable, and I'm trying to find the word for it. Kyle will go to the ends of the earth. She will go to any length to evade personal responsibility for anything. She is so locked into her victimness that listen, it shouldn't even matter. It shouldn't even matter if Kyle and Dorit are getting along. She's your friend, or she was your friend for a long time, and we all saw it. This is not business as fucking usual, even if it's just memes. If you don't have that feeling like this is wrong, or if you're not telling Dorit, I got a really funny meme from PK, that should be a clue to herself that she's being shady. And a terrible fucking friend.
And it's to me, the just memes thing is like worse. Because so you're just joking around with the man who's destroying my family? That's what you're doing?
Who gets like, so drunk that he leaves for 2 weeks at a time?
And you're just joking around. Like, that's the part, like, it's almost like if they were communicating about, like, I don't know, like which route to take to Santa Barbara. Like, if it was something logistical, it would make more sense. But the fact that they're just hanging out, having a great old time, swapping memes back and forth while Dorit's life is collapsing around her is like more offensive to me. I would be so pissed off if that was happening behind my back.
It's repugnant.
On both of their parts. They should both go to hell. Dorit explains that PK has dropped out of communication with her, making it very hard to navigate co-parenting. And my guess is there just simply is no co-parenting.
There's no co-parenting. He's not interested in that.
Dorit does it all. She always has. And
he's a pig.
Then we transition. Now it becomes Sutton's turn to be a dickbag. Dorit says she needs to be in contact with PK in order to continue shielding the children from what's going on. And then Sutton sort of slurs now at this point. She goes, you can't shield the children forever. And then, of course, while I do think Sutton is right, she said it in a totally disrespectful and insensitive way. And Dorit, of course, takes immediate offense and says, I don't plan to shield them forever. Sutton says, I'm just reiterating what I said on the boat. And Dorit is like, when you said I should lean on you, I meant that from the bottom of my heart. And Sutton, Dorit says, your behavior doesn't lead me to believe that you're a safe place to lean on in a vulnerable state.
I mean, my God. And Sutton is incredulous. And Erica can't hold back. She's all, oh, well, you're judging her. And then
because Sutton yells at her. She goes, what have I done to you ever? So she first is like, I told you to lean on me. And then in the next breath, she's yelling at her. It's like so insane.
Oh, my God. Yep. I don't know. Kyle tries to bullshit us by saying, if I knew you were upset about texting PK, I wouldn't have done it. And I don't know. I just feel like her innocent babe in the woods. Oh, my God, what did I do wrong? Oh, my God, how can you accuse me of this? It's got to stop, dude. You're middle-aged. You're okay. You are obsessed with your daughters. You love being a good mom, and you're acting like a fucking asshole. And I believe that you are a willing participant and absolutely on board with what you're doing, and you're not fooling anybody with your faux surprise, and fuck you.
Well, and the way that she shuts it down with Dorit saying, she said, if it bothers you, even the memes, and the subtext is like, you hysterical, hypersensitive, overreacting psycho. If even the memes bothers you, you poor dear, then I'll stop. She says, I don't need to do that. Oh my God. And then we go to Kyle's confessional where she's like, are you serious? Like, where did this come from? And it's like, she's separated and preparing to divorce a man who she was open about having problems with for over a year now. What do you mean, where is this coming from?
And then
You're so rude.
And then she says, and honestly, PK has been a better friend to me lately. And I thought, again, she is caught in her hypocrisy. What is it, Kyle? Is it sending memes that makes you a good friend? Is that why PK is a good friend to you? Or are you just like fucking lying that it's just memes? Or is the definition of a good friend to you just someone that sends you fucking good memes?
Which is weird because the whole season started with her Amazon Live saying Dorit exaggerated their friendship.
Exactly.
So which end is up? And also what a gross fucking thing to say. And she just said that to hurt Dorit. And PK is not a better friend to her. And I hope actually that they are great friends and Kyle can be called into whatever court cases PK faces down the line. She can be a character witness or whatever. I hope it ruins her life. But yeah, I just thought Kyle was just unbelievably awful. She was only on screen for like 15 minutes and I was like absolutely out of my mind, enraged with her. This woman is going through divorce. You literally just went through this 1 year ago. And this is how you're coming at her? Actually, your husband's better friend to me than you are, honestly.
Disgusting.
What the hell?
No shame. How can she look at herself in the mirror? And you know what? I was going to say, I hope she's cringing while she's watching at home. She's not. She's not. I'm going to start accepting what I can't change, and I'm going to start seeing it for what it is. She is. She's gross. She's repugnant. And if that's a friend, fucking pass. Kyle.
Well, and Kyle screams at Dorit, I'm done. I am done. And I love Dorit because I wrote, that's so vague. And Dorit goes, I need clarity. And Kyle mocks her and goes like, okay.
That was so disgusting.
And I was like,
so disgusting.
What are you done with? You didn't say what you're done with. It's only fair that Dorit asks. And Kyle said she's done trying to fix it with Dorit. And Dorit just goes, as am I. As am I. So there's nothing to fight about. It's so great. And then Kyle just getting a last little dig in says like, okay, then quit being so fucking bitter.
Misogynistic as fuck.
Oh my God. And
Coded
again,
as fuck.
Her divorce, she literally just had the therapy session where she learned the divorce is happening. Like she's in the most compromised, sad state right now. And this is how you're like, I just can't believe it. I can't believe it. How self-centered.
I hope at the end of this that they don't reconcile. I hope at the end of this, Dorit realizes that she can do better. And you know I'm not a fan of Dorit. But in this, for what she's going through, and she's showing her vulnerability, and she's not trying to like play act with her friends, and she's not afraid to express anger and raise her voice, I really hope that she knows that she's better than a fucking quote-unquote friend like Kyle. She's a fucking monster. Dorit says the rules are different for Kyle and everybody else, and it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
And she can't see it, and it's just fucking vile. It's repugnant and vile.
I think she just can't accept the change in the relationship dynamic because I think Kyle knows everything she's doing is wrong, but Dorit of years past would have found a way to go along with it. And this Dorit is raising her voice, calling Kyle out directly, and Kyle is cussing and losing her mind. Like she's never this unhinged. And now, I mean, Kesha is going to watch this back and regret showing up with Kyle because that is not the person you want to be aligned with at that table.
I don't want the stink of Erica Jane on me, and I don't want the stink of Kyle Richards on me.
No. That
Bar One. I used to go to Bar One.
Oh, that's the other thing that happened. Cynthia's husband got sentenced to 18 months in prison for tax evasion.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He had Bar One, right?
I don't know.
Oh, no, maybe that was something else. I don't know. Anyways, lots of Bravo news. All roads lead to Bravo.
All roads lead to Bravo, man. All roads lead to Bravo all day, every day. It's like once you see it, you're going to see it everywhere, honestly.
What else did you watch this week?
I'm not proud to admit that over the break, I binged 90 Day Fiancé Last Resort Season 2, and I don't know why I watch it, because it's like there's watching a train wreck and then there's watching people that are making decisions based on trauma. It makes me so uncomfortable, but at the same time, I don't know. I couldn't look away.
I mean, it's literally like the only show I haven't watched.
Just don't even start it. Just
I
don't even
won't.
start it.
It'll make me too upset.
It's upsetting.
I understand the subject matter, and I just can't touch that.
I can't watch like the actual iteration, like the OG satellite, just the regular straight 90 Day Fiancé. Like I can't watch that. I can't watch that one. But Last Resort and The Single Life are like slightly more palatable.
It's like Bachelor in Paradise or whatever, right? Like it's a little lighter spinoff.
Yeah, I'm done with The Bachelor, by the way. I've now
Fair.
made it through 2 seasons without, no. This will be the first season that I don't watch. I don't give a fuck. And then what else? New York, Potomac came back this week. New York came back this week. I couldn't watch Salt Lake City on Wednesday. I couldn't watch it for a distraction. I couldn't watch it. I couldn't stomach. I couldn't watch anything but KTLA. I couldn't watch it. It'll be there this weekend if I feel up to it. But nope. No. How about you, friend? Well, you didn't have any fucking power this week. So.
I did not have power, so I watched a lot of TikTok, a lot of puppy videos, which was really soothing. But I did watch Southern Hospitality premiered at the beginning of the year, and it's great. And it's starting this whole notion of the Bravo-verse, the worlds colliding, because the Joe Bradley's affair with Luann enters the storyline, and I don't know, it's fascinating.
Ooh.
And then that was Southern Hospitality, and then I'm also watching Southern Charm, just because there's friendship breakups going on, which I always find are underserved on TV.
Yeah.
And so I'm really curious to watch people navigate those because they're heartbreaking. It's often more devastating and drawn out letting a friendship actually go. But I'll also be curious to see what happens because the friendship that's crumbling is Craig and Austin and Shep. But now that Craig is single, I wonder if his friends will be there to support him or if he'll wind up, because he's so adamant, I'm done with the bar life. I don't live there anymore. You will never see me at a bar. If you want to be my friend, you come here. And now I don't know. But I also wouldn't be surprised if he meets someone on Raya and is wifed up in 3 weeks. I think he really wants
I agree.
to settle down and have a family. And
I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
I also watched a lot of Below Deck Sailing Yacht. I can't remember.
Great.
I think it's season 5. But yes, I didn't want to forget saying I'm sorry to jump in at the end of your.
No.
But it's so fucking good.
It's so great.
Good.
Yeah.
The people that come on these boats, man. Some are great and some are just oh my God.
Yeah.
Where's your shame?
Checked at the dock.
Oh, Jesus. But watching all the drinking, man, I just it just makes my head hurt just watching it. But I'm also significantly older than these people working on these boats. So,
but there is something about I watch it too for that and again, because my dad was a sailor, that community, the people who like being on the ocean in a cramped space, you do it because you have no problem being covered in salt water and drunk. That's how you spend, and smoking and all of it. It's just it's such a, they're not yachties like a regular yachty. That's even a class level up. These guys are just literal sea dogs, and it's fascinating.
Their bunks are just, I can't. It makes me uncomfortable just watching. Not because it's messy, but just it's so cramped.
It's so cramped. There's nowhere to put anything. The bathroom sink can hold 2 toothbrushes, and that's it.
Ew.
It's crazy.
Ew.
Ugh, and just on the water constantly, you're just always bobbing up and down.
Nope.
Not the life for me.
Mm-mm. Pass.
Yeah. And what was your antidepressant?
Seeing you right now, talking to my cousin every day, knowing that people are going to show up for their community, their communities. And yeah. And my family, and we're safe and we're happy and we're housed, you know? Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, friend?
I mean, prior to the fires, the start of the year, I started with my niece in town staying with me.
That's
And that is
right.
like the most direct hit of antidepressant you can get. It's like an
Mm-hmm.
IV drip for however, from the second I pick her up to the second I drop her off. It's just like a constant joy to have her in my space and to hang out with. I just adore her. And we had a really great visit. I had a great time with her. And then, then she left and then the world got caught on fire. And I will say, like, I'm obviously like, truly, when my power came back on, it was like a spiritual experience. Like, I couldn't believe, I was like, when the heat kicked on, I was like, oh my God, I have everything I need. And I really do. I have a roof over my head. Nothing around me immediately is on fire. I had heat in the winter. Like, it suddenly was like, and then the first thing I did was watch Bravo. I turned on the TV and I was like, oh God, I want to get caught up. And I just felt so like, and I'll take it for granted again in the future, but like in that moment, I was just I couldn't stop feeling thankful. And that's not always my default. Like I do gratitude lists for the purpose of training myself to remember what to be grateful for when things are going wrong. But like in that moment, I literally was like, oh my God, I'm just like happy. And Evelyn was snuggled up next to me. And it was just like a wonderful night. And I am so moved by how many people have reached out, like you consistently checking in as, to make sure things are progressing in a way that's working out for me and inviting me up there, and if I hadn't had to drive through flames, I probably would have come. And just also random people coming out of the woodwork. This woman who I did a writing class with in Paris years ago reached out, ex-boyfriends, college friends. Like this, it's one of those things where like, I don't know, I can convince myself that I'm not making an impact on people or it's whatever, that kind of bullshit. And then this happens and random people just want to make sure that like my body is like safe and out of harm's way. It was really meaningful. So yeah. And my Irish friend, before the fire started, she was on the Citizen app and she's like, the Citizen app is reporting there's a body on Crescent Heights and 6th. And I just wanted to make sure it's not you. And I was like, thank you for calling.
Oh my God, that's so morbid.
It's so Irish. We both started just burst out laughing because she literally called with urgency to make sure I would pick up to be certain it wasn't me that was like dead on the street down, half a mile down.
God.
But I love that. Like there's also that like culturally, that's just like a thing that I understood why she was calling and it led to like a lovely conversation. But it also, as you know, I have this fear that I'm like, I live alone right now and that I'll die and no one will discover my body for weeks on end. And these past few days, there've just been this influx of people who I can keep in touch with. And I will do that because it matters to me that they thought of me. And I always have all of these people on my mind.
You
and
do.
It's just nice to have been connected through, it's always terrible that it takes like some massive tragedy to start those connections. But I'm grateful to know that if I died in here, someone would notice, or not. Or it's also fine if they don't. If a gas leak happens and I die and no one notices, that's also fine. But it's alleviated some of the obsession on that stupid fear. If I'm dead, I won't notice. Great news. I won't care. So, but
I want to talk about that.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, in a moment of crisis,
I get
lots
it.
of people wanted to make sure that
Oh my God.
all was well.
Oh my God. I know I wanted to go down there too. And I'm like, well, I can't fly down and I can't drive down. Like I can't get nowhere. I can't get anywhere.
And they want
and the roads need to be clear for first responders. That's what they keep
saying. They're like, unless you have, what do they say? Unless you have righteous business near these fires, get out of the roads. And I thought that was a really interesting way to phrase it. And I do not like, even my mom, I haven't been out to Pasadena because I don't have righteous business there yet. And that fire is still very active and the roads need to be clear for people to get to the hospital and stuff. And unless my mom's in crisis, I will wait until it's safe for me to get there without causing backups on that thoroughfare. So, and she's doing okay too. So that's good.
Oh, thank fucking God, man.
Yeah.
Thank fucking God. I send boundless love, boundless thoughts of healing, boundless thoughts of, I'm with you. I'm with
Yes.
you and I'm with everyone. And I want that city to heal and get out from this. I mean, no shit, Sherlock, but like, it's all I'm thinking about right now. Like I'm channeling all that energy towards y'all.
Yeah, and I'm sending it right back to your family members who are dealing with like ultimate loss, and displacement and, yeah, it's going to take quite a village to repair this mess. I look
Yep.
forward to connecting with your cousin when everything settles a bit so I can help them however they need.
So sweet,
And
Margie. Oh
I'm
my God.
here and I love her.
I
So,
know.
yeah.
And she loves you too.
Yeah.
Cousin, if and when you listen to this, no pressure. Jesus Christ, you got a lot on your plate. I love you. Dina strong, Madre strong. Whatever you need, man. I tell her this all the time.
Yeah. And I'm here as your satellite, like
Oh,
if there's
God
something she
bless,
says you
man.
can do, send me to do it,
Oh my God, Margie, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
That's so sweet. Thank you. Everyone, send healing, loving thoughts to LA. I hope that all of your holidays were nice and relaxing. I didn't even talk about the holidays because it just feels like it's a million years away now. Hug your people. Get your shit in order. You never know. That's all
Yeah.
I got to say.
Well, everybody take good care of yourselves and we will talk next week.
Yeah, we'll talk next week. All right, everyone. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Ramona and Margie are obviously not doctors and do not provide medical advice. Their content is intended to be used for entertainment purposes only. It is not intended to be, should not be interpreted as, or used as a substitute for medical advice or a diagnosis of any health or fitness problem, condition, or disease, nor a recommendation for a specific test, doctor, care provider, procedure, treatment plan, product, or course of action.
My mom isn't a doctor.